Imagine a time of widespread ignorance, brutal warfare, and intellectual stagnation. A period where progress halted and superstition reigned supreme. What comes to mind? For many, it's the Dark Ages, a 1,000-year stretch of European history, often painted as a bleak void between the glory of Rome and the brilliance of the Renaissance. But what if I told you that nearly everything you thought you knew about the Dark Ages was wrong? What if this so-called darkness was in fact a vibrant tapestry of innovation, learning, and cultural exchange? Prepare to have your historical assumptions challenged, because today we're shining a light on the true story of the Middle Ages. The very term Dark Ages conjures images of gloom and despair, but its origin is far from what you might expect. It wasn't coined by some objective historian observing a decline in civilization. No, the phrase was first uttered by a rather snobbish 3rd century Italian poet named Petrarch. Petrarch, living in what he considered a golden age of classical revival, looked back at the preceding centuries with disdain. His complaint wasn't about widespread societal collapse or intellectual decay. It was a literary critique. He bemoaned what he saw as a decline in the quality of Latin literature compared to the classical Roman era. He essentially said, the writing these days is just so dark." He was a literary critic, not a societal diagnostician. Fast forward to 1602, and the term gained further traction. A scholar named Caesar Baronius used the Latin phrase saeculum obscurum, meaning dark age or dark century, to describe the 10th and 11th centuries. But again, his reasoning wasn't about a lack of intellectual activity. It was about a scarcity of historical sources from that specific period. He simply didn't have enough information to write a comprehensive history. So to him, it was dark because it was obscure, not because it was unenlightened. Think of it like a historian today complaining about a lack of digital records from the early internet. It doesn't mean nothing happened, just that the records are harder to find. Yet these two isolated instances, a poet's literary snobbery and a historian's frustration with source material, coalesced into one of history's most enduring and misleading labels. Contrary to the popular narrative, the Middle Ages were far from intellectually barren. This was a period of significant intellectual growth, laying the groundwork for many of the advancements we associate with later eras. One of the most profound developments was the rise of universities. Beginning in the 11th and 12th centuries, institutions like the University of Bologna, the University of Paris, and Oxford University emerged as centers of learning. Scholars flocked to these nascent universities, studying theology, law, medicine, and philosophy. This wasn't just rote memorization. It was a vibrant intellectual environment where debate and critical thinking were encouraged. Thinkers like Thomas Aquinas synthesized Aristotelian philosophy with Christian theology, creating complex intellectual systems that influenced Western thought for centuries. Beyond the universities, monasteries played a crucial role in preserving and transmitting knowledge. Monks meticulously copied ancient texts, both classical and Christian, ensuring their survival through turbulent times. Without their tireless efforts, much of the classical heritage we cherish today would have been lost forever. It was a monumental undertaking, a testament to the dedication to learning that existed even in the supposed darkness. Furthermore, the Middle Ages saw significant advancements in science and technology. The development of the mechanical clock, for instance, revolutionized timekeeping and our very perception of time. The printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg in the 15th century, was a game changer, making knowledge more accessible than ever before. These were not the products of a stagnant society. They were the fruits of a dynamic and innovative one. The artistic and architectural achievements of the Middle Ages are a powerful testament to the era's creativity and ingenuity. The soaring cathedrals of Gothic architecture, with their pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and flying buttresses, were engineering marvels that still inspire awe today. These weren't just buildings. They were expressions of faith, community, and artistic vision. The intricate stained glass windows that adorned these cathedrals were not merely decorative. They were a form of visual storytelling, depicting biblical narratives for a largely illiterate populace. The vibrant colors and masterful craftsmanship of these windows are a testament to the artistic skill of the time. Illuminated manuscripts, another hallmark of the period, are a testament to the meticulous artistry of medieval monks. These handwritten books, adorned with intricate illustrations and gold leaf, were not just repositories of knowledge, they were works of art in their own right. The level of detail and artistry in these manuscripts is breathtaking, a far cry from the crude and simplistic imagery often associated with the Dark Ages. The beauty and complexity of these artistic and architectural achievements challenge the very notion of a dark and unenlightened era. The idea of a dark and isolated Europe in the Middle Ages is another pervasive myth. In reality, this was a period of significant global connection and exchange. The Byzantine Empire, the eastern remnant of the Roman Empire, was a vibrant center of trade and culture, connecting Europe with the East. The Islamic world, stretching from Spain to Central Asia, was a hub of scientific and intellectual innovation, and its influence on European thought was profound. Scholars in the Islamic world preserved and translated classical Greek texts, which were later reintroduced to Europe, sparking a new wave of intellectual inquiry. The Crusades, while often remembered for their violence, also facilitated cultural exchange between Europe and the Middle East. European crusaders brought back new ideas, technologies, and goods, from spices and textiles to mathematical concepts. The Silk Road, the ancient network of trade routes connecting East and West, continued to flourish during the Middle Ages, bringing goods and ideas from as far away as China to the heart of Europe. This was not a world of isolated kingdoms, but a dynamic and interconnected one, where ideas and innovations flowed freely across borders. So why does the myth of the Dark Ages persist? Part of the reason is the enduring power of a good story. The narrative of a dark and ignorant past, followed by a glorious rebirth in the Renaissance, is a simple and compelling one. It's a story of progress, of light triumphing over darkness. But it's a story that sacrifices historical accuracy for narrative convenience. The term Dark Ages is also a useful rhetorical tool. It allows us to feel superior to the past, to see ourselves as more enlightened and advanced than our ancestors. But this is a dangerous and misleading way to view history. It robs the people of the Middle Ages of their humanity and their achievements, and it prevents us from understanding the true complexity and richness of this fascinating period. The true legacy of the Middle Ages is not one of darkness and stagnation, but of resilience, innovation, and cultural exchange. It was a period that saw the birth of universities, the construction of magnificent cathedrals, and the development of new technologies that would shape the course of human history. It was a time of intellectual ferment, artistic creativity, and global connection. It was, in short, a period of profound and lasting importance, a crucial chapter in the story of human civilization. If you found this video enlightening, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And let us know in the comments what other historical misconceptions you'd like us to tackle next. Thanks for watching.